A new survey of politicians shows a clear majority believe climate change is happening, but many appear to be unsure about some of its consequences. More than 40% of the Australian politicians who responded to the survey believe the planet could safely warm by 4 degrees, despite scientific warnings that a global temperature increase of 2 degrees or more could be dangerous. Margot O'Neill reports.
It's been a headline political issue, but just how much do our politicians know about climate change? A Queensland University survey of more than 300 federal, state and local government politicians found that nearly 70% believe human-induced climate change is happening and rate it as one of Australia's most important challenges. But there's also confusion about what climate change really means. For instance, 75% of politicians believe the Great Barrier Reef is threatened by global warming, but only 55% agree that ocean ecosystems are also threatened, even though the Great Barrier Reef is obviously part of the ocean's ecosystems.
I think that really speaks to the complexity of the issue of climate change. It takes a high level of knowledge and scientific knowledge to really understand the full range of effects.
This is a complex area, and I think this is revealing that even our leaders have trouble sort of getting the core concepts.
Some scientists are alarmed that more than 40% of the politicians who responded to the survey believe it's safe for the planet to warm by 4 degrees. Nearly 7% of politicians believe it's safe up to 6 degrees. Climate scientists say such rises will probably lead to an escalation of heatwaves, bushfires and the melting of the polar ice caps.
The thing that scared me most of all in the survey is the temperature question. I find it remarkable that people would think warming of 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees might be loosely defined as safe.
Researcher Dr Kelly Fielding says some stark party political differences were also evident. Asked whether the planet is warming because of human activity producing greenhouse gases, 98% of Greens said yes, compared to 89% of Labor, 57% for non-aligned politicians and 38% of Liberal National politicians. Throughout the survey, many more Liberal National politicians answered don't know or uncertain.
What you're seeing is greater certainty and belief on the part of the Labor Party politicians and more knowledge about the specifics of climate change, whereas for the Liberal National Party politicians, it's greater uncertainty and that uncertainty is creeping through in terms of being able to respond to sort of specific questions about climate change that tap into the detail of climate change.
So where do the nation's policymakers get their information from? Overall, only 56% of surveyed politicians trust the world's leading climate science body, the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, although nearly 70% said they're greatly influenced by what scientists say. But again, that depends on party affiliation. 98% of Greens say they're greatly influenced by scientists, compared to 85% of Labor politicians, 54% for non-aligned politicians, and dropping to 44% for Liberal National politicians.
We have, as a community of climate scientists, failed fairly conclusively to communicate the certainty around the science of climate.
Only 18% of federal politicians responded. Of the entire survey group, 97 were Labor, 73 Liberal National, 41 were Greens, and the remaining 97 described themselves as non-aligned. Margot O'Neill, Lateline.